Guys, the atmosphere of the Chargers locker room has been changing fast. There's a feeling in the air that things are starting to click at exactly the right time. We're heading into the final stretch of the season, and honestly, there's so much happening that I can't restrict myself from sharing with you. So let me break it down quickly. What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Chargers. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Bolts. Let me start with the good news. Omarion Hampton is coming back, finally. Jim Harbaugh confirmed on Tuesday that they've opened up his 21-day practice window, and I can't tell you how huge that is for this team. Look, I know he's been out since week 5 with that ankle injury against the Commanders, but the kid showed us enough in those 5 games to know exactly what he's capable of. We're talking about 86 total touches for 450 yards and 2 touchdowns before he went down. That's not just solid production. That's the kind of stuff that changes how defenses have to game plan against you. When you average 4.8 yards per carry and you're pulling in more than 20 catches out of the backfield as a rookie, you're not just another guy. You're a problem that opposing coordinators have to solve. The thing is, we really needed this. Without Hampton, the backfield has been absolutely decimated. Najee Harris came in to be that steady veteran presence, right? The guy who could give you 1,000 yards and not miss games. And then boom. Achilles injury, done for the season. Hassan Haskins never really got it going with his own issue. That left Kamani Vidal basically carrying the entire load by himself, and that was never supposed to be the plan. Vidal's done his best, don't get me wrong, but asking one guy to shoulder that responsibility in an offense that already puts so much pressure on Justin Herbert, that's just not sustainable. So yeah, opening this practice window is massive. Now they've got 21 days to activate him to the 53-man roster, and Harbaugh said they'll see how the week goes to determine if he plays against the Raiders on Sunday. Either way, just knowing he's close is enough to change the whole mood. Think about what this means if Hampton comes back healthy. You've got him as the main guy, Vidal complimenting him, and suddenly defenses actually have to respect our run game again. That takes so much pressure off the offensive line, opens up play action for Herbert, extends drives, keeps our defense fresh on the sideline. It's everything we've been missing. The only question is whether Harbaugh rushes him back for this Raiders game or holds off a bit longer to make sure he's really ready when the schedule gets brutal down the stretch. Look, technically if the Chargers play well, they will easily qualify for the playoffs. Competing in the playoffs is quite different and difficult because every team is a worthy opponent. You can't compete with these teams with broken players. So if Hampton is not fully ready, Harbaugh should not force him to play against the Raiders. The Raiders are easier opponents. We can handle them with Vidal. Giving Hampton extra rest will eventually benefit the Chargers. And speaking of the offensive line, man, that's been a whole situation. Harbaugh addressed it after the bye week, and honestly, it needed to be addressed. Harbaugh said they've got 10 guys who started at some point this season, which tells you how chaotic it's been. He mentioned Jamaree Salyer, Trey Pipkins, and Bobby Hart will all be in the mix at tackle. Salyer actually started at left tackle back in 2022 when Slater went down with a biceps injury, and he played pretty well. Pipkins has been the primary right tackle, and Hart started 4 games before he got hurt with a groin and ankle injury. At practice on Tuesday, they had Salyer at left tackle, Zion Johnson at left guard, Bradley Bozeman at center, Mekhi Becton at right guard, and Pipkins at right tackle. That's probably what we're going to see moving forward. The interior looks solid with Johnson, Bozeman, and Becton, and Harbaugh said that group is staying put. The real question marks have been Austin Deculus and Trevor Penning, both guys we picked up in trades, and honestly, they just haven't played well enough. So we're going back to what we know works. Now, here's where things really get interesting. There's this rumor floating around about Christian Wilkins, and I'm telling you, it's got people talking. Wilkins is that former Raider who left Las Vegas in this weird, turbulent way that nobody really understands. And now there's smoke about him potentially coming to the Chargers. And I mean, the fit makes so much sense, it's almost scary. We're still looking for that dominant 3-technique defensive tackle, that guy who can blow up the interior, disrupt the pocket, and funnel everything to our edge rushers. We haven't found that piece yet. The defense has definitely improved under Harbaugh, but we're missing that presence in the middle. Wilkins, when he's at his best, is exactly what we need. Relentless motor, violent hands, the kind of guy who sets the tone in the trenches. And imagine the storyline, right? A former Raider with something to prove, coming to a division rival and absolutely terrorizing quarterbacks from the inside. That's the kind of move that changes your entire defensive identity. Now, there's no official report, no Schefter tweet or Rappaport bomb, but when multiple analysts keep saying it makes sense and it's a natural fit, that's usually not random. There's real smoke there.
Of course there's risk.
You've got to think about his medical history, the locker room concerns, and the price tag. This will be a big swing, the kind that either turns a good defense into a scary one or becomes a headache. But if the front office has the guts to pull it off, the AFC West would feel it immediately. Okay, now let me talk about Tuli Tuipolotu for a second, because this kid deserves way more attention than he's getting nationally. I know he's not as flashy as some other young pass rushers, and yeah, the whole thing with moving on from Joey Bosa and then trading for Agbonia Okoronkwo probably messed with people's perception. But the truth is simple. Tuli is playing grown man football. He hit the bye week with 8 sacks. 8! That's one shy of his career high, and we've still got games left. And his 48 pressures put him in the top 10 in the entire NFL, according to Pro Football Focus. We're talking about a 23-year-old kid competing with the absolute best in the league. Eric Smith from Chargers.com pointed out something that really matters. Tuli has become a tone setter on defense. He's not just making plays, he's directing guys, talking more, carrying himself like the kind of player you build great units around. That's the growth you can't measure with stats. Is he Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack in their primes yet? No. But look at the trajectory. Tuli and Okoronkwo are building chemistry, they're both getting reps together, and the front office is clearly committed to investing in that defensive front. That's a modern blueprint right there. Youth, explosion, and a clear long-term plan. If the national media doesn't want to notice yet, that's on them. We're watching it happen in real time. And here's something that's got me thinking about next season already. The future of our backfield. Before that devastating Achilles injury, Najee Harris was one of the most durable backs in the league. 4 straight seasons without missing a game, all with at least 1,000 rushing yards. That was his calling card. So when he got hurt this year, it hit different because nobody expected it. Now he's heading into free agency, and the question is, do we bring him back? The thing is, he probably come cheaper because of the injury concerns, but if he recovers right, his ceiling is higher than a lot of backs who'll be on the market. Plus, he already knows the system, understands what Harbaugh wants, and built chemistry with Hampton in practice in those limited snaps they had together. Before the injuries, Najee posted an 86.7% success rate on his carries, and Hampton was at 47% across his games. Those are impressive numbers considering how much our interior line struggled early on. So if Najee comes back healthy, this duo could still be explosive, especially if we can rebuild that offensive line in the offseason. The running back market is going to be expensive and crowded, and we need to invest serious money in the line and patching up the defense. We might not be able to go all in on high-end options like Breece Hall or Rico Dowdle or J.K. Dobbins, but imagine Hampton and Najee behind a revamped interior line in 2026. That's a ground game that actually scares people, that chews clock and punishes defenses. Symbolically, it's perfect too. Tuli as the future, Najee as the experience, finally delivering what we thought we were getting this season. It all comes down to how Najee responds to rehab. It's a risk, no question, but given the cost, the familiarity, and the upside, it's one of the smartest options on the table. And honestly, if there's even a decent chance it works, I think Harbaugh is going to want to take that swing. Oh, and before I forget, there's some cool Hall of Fame news. Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, and Rodney Harrison were all named modern-era semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. This is the first time Rivers and Brees have been named semifinalists, and it's the 5th time for Harrison. Rivers gave us 59,271 passing yards and 397 touchdowns, both franchise records. Brees spent 5 years with us before his legendary run with the Saints. And Harrison finished with 3 Pro Bowls, 2 Super Bowl rings, and was named to the 50th anniversary teams of both the Chargers and Patriots. It's just really cool to see these guys getting recognized. So yeah, after a day like this, it's hard not to feel like something big is brewing. We've got 6 games left in the regular season, and if we can get healthy and keep building, man, who knows what this team can do? The energy is different right now, and I'm here for all of it.